Hello, ninth graders. This lesson is going to be about how our body has natural immune defenses to infections and what those are. There's three different lines of defenses that we're going to talk about. So we'll go ahead and get started right away into how our body defends itself. Again, the first of the three lines of defenses is what's called there's four parts of it: the integumentary system, respiratory system, digestive system, urinary system. These all have something in common and how they are similarly working together, but we'll break them down here. First of all, the integumentary system, outer defenses, is really the body's outermost layer of skin. Our skin is a barrier defense that keeps pathogens out. The layers of scaly overlapping cells are very hard for bacteria to get through, and most don't. Now, the dryness of our skin is not conducive for bacteria growth. They like moist environments, so when our skin is dry, it tends to, the bacteria just die off of it. They're not going to survive there. We also, when we sweat, we release salt onto our skin, and salt dehydrates bacteria. And then the oils on our skin are acidic, and this also knocks out bacteria metabolisms, which makes it very hard for them to survive, grow, and then reproduce. They just don't have the energy to do so. So that's the first part of it. Next, the inner defenses of the integumentary system. Excuse me. So there's surfaces on the respiratory, digestive, and urinary systems. Okay, and these surfaces are lined with a mucous membrane. So, excuse me, these openings into the body have these special linings, mucous membranes, basically that secrete mucus. Okay, and mucus makes it, which is a thick, watery substance, makes it very difficult for pathogens to work its way into the body. All right, our nose, our throat, urinary system, okay, the urethra, those are all lined with mucus and make it very difficult. Bacteria just doesn't get through that often. Our respiratory system itself, okay, yes, it has the mucus protecting it, lining the nasal passages, the trachea, inner passages of the lungs. Okay, so all of this has mucus, plus it also has something called cilia. Okay, and cilia are really fine, short, small hair-like things that move together to move mucus away from the lungs. Okay, so it's all down the trachea into lungs, throat. Well, these little fine hairs work together to push mucus up. Okay, and what it's doing is bacteria that gets caught in that mucus then works its way up. And typically either you spit that out or it's swallowed, and then when it's swallowed, most of them are killed by the stomach acid. Okay, so it's working it out of the lungs so it can be swallowed and killed. The digestive system, again, covered in mucus, but areas of the mouth, throat, esophagus, stomach, intestines, and rectum. So all the openings of the body dealing with digestive system covered. All right. Any that's not killed, so like we mentioned earlier that it's killed by stomach acid, any that's not killed by that, usually in the intestines, are digested and broken down by digestive enzymes. Okay. There's so much bacteria that we actually have in our stomach and intestines. That bacteria is helping break down other harmful bacteria. The urinary system, there's actually very few bacteria in this system. The urethra, which is the small tube that carries urine out away from the bladder, out of the body, doesn't typically have a lot of bacteria left over, but regular urine flow, so when you're going to the bathroom, will typically flush out, or the acid from that will kill off pathogens. Now, you still get, and maybe more so common for females, urinary tract infections, so it happens, but related to in comparison to the other parts of the body, the urinary system has very little bacteria there. Okay, so the second line of defenses, okay, the microorganisms have bypassed or broken through that first line. It's gotten into the body. Well, our body has a natural reaction, okay, of releasing phagocytes, causing inflammation and fever. And really, you'll find as we go through this, all of these come back to phagocytes. So let's talk about those first. Phagocytes are white blood cells, and there's different types of white blood cells, but these ones specifically engulf and destroy microorganisms. They basically eat them, okay? They're larger white blood cells that will try to leech on to a pathogen, engulf it, and basically swallow it up, okay? Now, these are found in the body's tissue, in lymph nodes, the spleen, and in your blood. So sometimes you may notice when you're sick, your lymph nodes in your necks or maybe in your armpits in different areas might start to swell up. Well, that's because of more phagocytes rushing to that area, okay, and trying to be produced and attack pathogens. So lymph nodes typically will swell up when you are sick. And that's, it's the body's doing its normal job that it should. So inflammation, okay, and this is something that you experienced quite a bit, okay, it's increased blood flow to an injured or diseased area of the body. So you sprain an ankle, it swells up, it gets red, it gets warm, okay, those sensations of redness, hurt, swelling, pain, those are actually good things. That's the body rushing as much blood flow as it can to that area of the body because it needs more nutrients, it needs more oxygen, it needs phagocytes, okay? And then as more blood flow goes there, the smaller, weaker vessels will start to leak, okay? So the blood leaks into the tissue, and that's why it's red and bruised. But this is allowing phagocytes into that tissue that needs repaired, it needs to fight off any disease that's there. So that inflammation is actually a good thing for you, okay? It may hurt, it may be causing pain, discomfort, but it's the body's natural way of trying to heal itself. So inflammation, again, is just trying to get those phagocytes to the area it needs to. Now, a fever is a rise in body temperature. Okay, we've all experienced that, I'm sure, when we're sick. But this rise in temperature stimulates white blood cells. Okay, it gets them active, it gets them produced more, it gets them to do their job. So what they're doing is blocking pathogen reproduction. All right. So you get a fever, and that stops the growth and reproduction of bacteria because they can't survive in that. It stimulates phagocytes and other white blood cells. Again, so it's trying to get those phagocytes doing their job in the right areas to take over the bacteria or pathogen. Now, just a side note, if you do have a very high temperature, okay, young kids, typically over like 104 degrees is where they're like, yeah, you need to get them into the hospital. The older you get, you're over 101 or so, you might be looking to go to a doctor. But if you've had a fever lasting more than 5 days, you should also go see a doctor. Okay, the third line of defense, and the last line that we have, maybe the coolest, most remarkable line of defense of our body's natural reactions. So we have things called T cells, and then we have B cells and antibodies, and then just the memory our immune system has. So those T cells, they are the commander-in-chiefs of the white blood cells. They coordinate the body's immune system, tell what cells to go where and what they should attack. So they are really acting as captains, okay? Without these T cells and for them to tell the rest of the white blood cells and other types of cells what to do, your immune system's not going to be very effective, okay? So they're coordinators, they're the captains. So you need these T cells, otherwise your immune system just doesn't know how to function. They're located again in the blood, lymph nodes, and spleen. These are the types of cells too that HIV attacks, and that's why over time you develop AIDS. You have an autoimmune deficiency syndrome that your body just doesn't know how to defend itself anymore because the T cells have been overtaken. Okay, B cells is a cell that produces antibodies. So their function is to make antibodies, and an antibody is a molecule that attaches to a marked pathogen and signals that it's foreign. Okay, this isn't of our body, it's not natural, and it tells our body, well, we want to kill this thing off. So it tells white blood cells to destroy it. So B cells create antibodies. Antibodies basically go around marking antigens, okay, which is a pathogen where in the pathogen's cell that it recognizes, it binds to that, and then it lets everything, the other rest of the immune system say, hey, we need to come attack this. Okay, so it's kind of the marker of the immune system. And then we have a natural memory in our immune system. Okay, B cells and T cells remember encounters with pathogens. So which means we get sick with it once, well, the next time our immune system has a faster response. It has a stronger response, which means you may not even get sick. Sorry, the announcements are going to go off now. This is the basic of vaccines. This is the basic of vaccines. Boost your immunity with natural nutrition, exercise, hydration, and rest. Or behaviors that we have naturally that suppress immunity. Things like smoking, vaping, stress. All of those are bringing our immune system down, so it's not going to have as good of memory to attack these foreign pathogens again. All right. Again, no assignment today, so don't worry about that. Have a good day. No, you're fine. I was just finishing up my recording for tomorrow's lesson.